Here it goes. That just takes a few 30 seconds to catch up.
We'll wait till 1 o'clock to get started here, so just 2 more minutes. See Mayor Crowder and Vice Mayor Jones have joined us. I appreciate seeing you guys here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Clint. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Okay, we have the Zoom recording going as well.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. First, want to welcome everyone to today's meeting. The first of what we hope to be monthly meetings, extending through at least the throughout the environmental impact report process. Per the meeting notice and agenda, I just wanted to walk through a little bit of why we're meeting today. And when we're done with that, I'd like to walk through some introductions from the Central Valley Water Board, the Town of Paradise, and the City of Chico. So for the public's benefit and any public that are joining us via YouTube, the purpose of this meeting is really to explore the feasibility of the Town of Paradise regionalization project. What that really means is the Town of Paradise constructing a sewer collection system that would pipe sewage, wastewater to the City of Chico, and in agreement with the City of Chico, the City of Chico would then treat that water through their wastewater treatment plant. It's fairly simple to explain. It's much more complex to actually walk through all the mechanisms that are required to pull something like that off. And that's really the intent of this committee, is to make sure that both the town and the City of Chico have adequate representation and have opportunity to contribute to the various pieces of this project as we walk our way through it over the next at least 18 months to get through the environmental impact report pieces. And then, of course, subsequent to that, should the project be seen as favorable at that point in time, then there are a lot of mechanics to work out with regard to funding and constructability, design, those kinds of things that will also require input for both the Town of Paradise and the City of Chico. So the purpose of this committee really is threefold. The first is to monitor progress of the proposed Paradise Sewer Project, including the project's environmental impact report and efforts being done under the town and city's cooperative work agreement. Two, to develop the principles of agreement for an intermunicipal agreement between the town and city, and to make a recommendation on those principles to the two councils if appropriate. The third is to guide public participation throughout the EIR process, which will happen separately, and we'll talk more about this, but in parallel to the committee's work. The signatories for this committee are the mayors of the Town of Paradise, Mayor Steve Crowder, and Vice Mayor Jody Jones, and the City of Chico, Mayor Andrew Coolidge, and Vice Mayor Casey Reynolds. The meeting's agendas and minutes can be found on the Town of Paradise website, the City of Chico's website, and the Central Valley Water Board's website. The City of Chico and Central Valley Water Board's website point to the Town of Paradise's website for the ease of housing the information and ease of updates. The public has two opportunities to participate or to view this meeting. The first is just to simply watch it via YouTube. The meeting is being live streamed via YouTube, and also will be recorded as a result. The other option is to send an email to sewercommittee@townofparadise.com or you can just visit the Town of Paradise's sewer webpage, and you can find a link there as well. Sending an email to sewercommittee@townofparadise.com requesting to speak. The clerks at the Town of Paradise will pick those emails up and will send you an appointment, the meeting appointment, so that you have an opportunity to speak during the public comment period. The agenda today is pretty basic, and it's really, that's intentional, and that because this is the first of these meetings that we want to work out some of the bugs, make sure that everyone understands the purpose of the meeting, gets an opportunity to meet one another, and to learn a little bit about where we've been with the project and what the next steps are. So with that, we'll provide introductions here in a second. Following introductions, we'll provide an opportunity for the community or the committee members to expose any communication they may have had over the previous few weeks or months. And then Ms. Katie Simmons, at my request, will provide a PowerPoint presentation providing some of the background information. Katie is a disaster recovery director for the Town of Paradise. Along with Katie, John Butts, who's HDR Engineering, is a senior program manager, will provide an overview and purpose of the principles of agreement that in part this committee will be tasked with developing. Following that, I'd like to converse with the committee members in setting the meeting calendar for the remainder of 2021. Currently, we have that set at the second Monday of every month, but certainly want to verify that that works for the mayors and vice mayors of both the Town of Paradise and the City of Chico. Following that, we'll open it up to a public forum and then have some closing remarks from the committee members. So with that, I want to introduce the Central Valley Water Board's team. With me today is Patrick Palupa, Central Valley Water Board's Executive Officer. Patrick.
Thanks, Clint. As you guys probably well know, Clint has taken this project on with a devotion to really trying to resolve some of the longstanding issues that we've seen in a cooperative manner, and I really appreciate all of his work on this. For those of you who know me, my background is as the board's attorney. I worked as a board's attorney for about a dozen years before becoming an executive officer about 3 years ago. And I know quite well the issues working with Ron Dykstra, who was one of the previous staff working on this with the Town of Paradise in years past, with the City of Chico, compliance issues and the work that's been done on both of those facilities, both of those communities to achieve compliance with the water quality, shared water quality goals. And I'm really just here just to voice my continued support for Clint and the process that he's engaged in and all the efforts that have been occurring on both as City of Chico and Town of Paradise. There's a lot of trust involved, a lot of relationship building, and a lot of shared sacrifice that we've seen out of these communities in the years, in the most recent couple of years. So I really want to thank everybody who has put their time and energy into this project, especially Clint, but especially as well the members of the community and the leadership within both of those communities who are really working to try and find common ends as we work on this project moving forward. So thanks, Clint, and again, just my support for your team as we work on these issues.
Thank you, Patrick. With me today, I'll briefly introduce Brian Smith. Brian Smith is a supervising engineer in the Central Valley Water Board's Reading office. He oversees, in part, our MPDS program. He is very well familiar with the City of Chico's wastewater treatment plant and the land discharge options, alternatives, and types of projects that the town would have been considering should they have elected to go with the local discharge option. So Brian's very well versed in the issues that this project will center on. Also with me today is Eric Rapport. Eric is a senior engineering geologist, a specialist out of the Reading office. Eric works on a lot of on-site wastewater treatment issues, basin-wide groundwater type issues. Very well versed in the challenges facing the town of Paradise with the very shallow soil profile and the geology there, and also works extensively with the city of Chico in some of the groundwater challenges that they have there. And finally, Jeremy Pagan is with us today. Jeremy Pagan is a senior engineer, and he oversees our MPDS unit. So specifically engages with the city of Chico and their operation of the wastewater treatment plant. With that, maybe we can start with the town of Paradise, the mayor and vice mayor and town manager.
Hey,
Kevin.
Clint, this is Bob Chow. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. We just noticed that the YouTube, there are like 20 people waiting. So somehow it is not streaming to the correct channel. So if you could bear with us for 1 quick minute.
Sure.
Thank you.
While you're doing that, Kevin, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah,
There we go.
sorry,
Okay.
we were talking and muting.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we're here. Kevin Phillips, town managers in the room with.
I'm Jody Jones, Vice Mayor.
I'm Steve Crowder, Mayor.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We may need to do that again. We're waiting for Bob Chow, our IT professional, to make sure that we are appropriately streaming to YouTube. Technical glitches.
We'll go on mute until we're ready.
Okay. Appreciate everyone bearing with us while we get some of these bugs worked out. So I've kind of arranged these intros in order. So mayor, vice mayor, town or city manager, then the public works directors, and then key staff, and then the clerks. I think that should capture just about everyone if we can generally go in that order. So we'll run through the town of Paradise and then the city of Chico.
Are you ready now or are you still waiting?
Still waiting, just a little bit.
Okay.
There were indications that the YouTube was streaming as it should have been, and then there was some notification that it was not. But it does sound, in case you missed that from Bob, that there are about 20 members of the public that are logged into the YouTube channel.
Hey, Clint. So the issue is, so even though we put the right YouTube codes in, it is streaming on our Central Valley Regional Board's last link, which is the strategic plan. The code that we sent out to everybody, the one with the 5 CVS, it shows 16 people waiting, but we're not able to start that meeting. So people cannot see it. So what we could do is, and we don't know who these folks are, to to reach out to them and give them the correct link. So the upside is all of this is being recorded, but we do not have a way to push that out. Now, one last thing that we can't do is basically close the Zoom meeting and immediately come back, thinking that may fix it, but we're not sure.
Would it be possible to close this, initiate the strategic planning site, and then form the link, and then
Patrick, we can't hear you at all. Really muffled.
A little trouble with your audio, Patrick.
How about this? A little better?
Very, very good.
All right. Bob, since we've got so many folks here, would it be possible to open the strategic planning Zoom session, flash this Zoom link to anybody who may be on there, and then revert back to this one?
We do have the link available. We could resend, I could send the link for the strategic planning link out to whoever needs it, but I don't have a way to find out who are the current folks that are on right now. I don't have a way to communicate with them.
I suppose my suggestion would be, if we did open up the strategic planning link that they're waiting on, would that be?
We do have the link available. We can resend, I can send the link for the strategic planning. Oh, out to whoever. Yeah, who was that? Who said that? Find out who are the current folks that are on right now. I don't have a way to communicate with them.
I suppose my suggestion would be, if we did open up the strategic planning link that they're waiting on.
Yeah.
A second for Bob and Jean to. One of the challenges we have without the public's participation is we noticed this as a Browns Act compliant type of meeting where the public would be involved. If what Patrick isn't suggesting and what Bob and Jean can't figure out, then we may want to turn our attention back to the committee members, the mayors and vice mayors, for suggestions.
Yeah, my suggestion would be is if we aren't able to establish the link or the link is incorrect, and even if you send it out, it's not enough notification. So we'd probably have to come back and do it at a different time. And I know that's not what anyone wants to do. It's just in terms of the public participation, if we had it and there's a way for them to see it, a recorded copy doesn't necessarily meet the Brown Act specification. So that would be my concern.
But they did have time to do public comment ahead of time via email, and it is being recorded, and this is the first of several meetings that are going to happen, correct? So it seems like we should be able to continue forward. That's just my 2 cents.
And we do have a recording of this portion of the meeting to share with others outside the meeting. But
So
are missing
what
that interaction.
What were we going to do in terms of public comment? What was the thought process? I know we were going to receive emails up to a certain point in time, but obviously if they can't view the meeting, they don't know what to ask necessarily. So that's where my concern comes in. But
Yeah, I think you have a valid concern. We didn't, I guess in terms of public comment, we didn't receive anything as of 10 a.m. this morning. Is that right, Dina?
We did not receive anything as of 10 a.m., but we were prepared if anybody emailed us during the meeting to send them the Zoom link so that they could make public comments during the meeting.
Okay. From the town, what is your pleasure? Mayor Crowder, Vice Mayor Jones.
There you go. This is Steve Crowder. I don't, I mean, I'd like to get this going as well. I don't want anybody to feel that they haven't been able to participate. I don't want to hear any comments down the road about they couldn't participate. So if we can't get a public participation, as much as I hate to do it, I think we need to wait as well.
I'm not sure that you won't have similar problems with this technology if we keep trying to do it this way, and would suggest that we have in-person meetings. I mean, we've been doing that with the council here. The public is not in the room, but we are all in the room, and our equipment seems to work fine. So we could host here and maybe it would work better.
Okay.
I think this is very awkward for doing what you're trying to do.
Do the committee members feel comfortable discussing the meeting schedule today and getting those dates to the benefit of the public?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we could work this out on Zoom. I mean, I've certainly seen more complicated meetings happen. But I do think we need to, especially because it's our first meeting, we need to move forward with, the public in attendance in any way they can, because I don't want to give the impression that we're starting the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree. I think there really is benefit, as frustrating as it is, in starting off on the right foot. We know there are a lot of challenges ahead of us. Public participation is going to be a big part of that. Public perception is going to be a big part of that. I think getting off on the right foot is just absolutely critical. So to that end,
Clint,
yes.
can we get a report back from Bob on the option of checking in essentially to the virtual waiting room where you got the 19 people and seeing what the status is there? Still there, Bob?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna go ask Jean to respond because she has access to the YouTube console. Hey, I wonder, Jean, do you think that you could, is there a way you could make an announcement or like on the chat on the YouTube channel of the 19 that are watching?
So it's actually, it looks like 15 people currently waiting, and I don't have the ability to chat or enable that live chat without stopping and starting the meeting as well. So a little bit, our hands are tied.
But I would say too, is if you already lost 4 people, then we're already getting into some of that gray area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bouncing around 15 or 16 people.
Okay. Well, if the committee members are in agreement, let's proceed with discussion about the calendar for the year. Take the conservative side and reschedule this meeting. Currently, this meeting is the second Monday of the month. I know Mondays can be challenging. It's really up to the committee members, the mayors and vice mayors, as to when these meetings, fit your calendars. I think in the ideal world, we would pick a date so that it's reoccurring each month, so that members of the public and interested parties and yourselves all have an opportunity to calendar that meeting and to work around those appointments. But that's just a suggestion on my end. Really open to, again, the mayors and vice mayors to set that date.
I'm fine with Mondays.
Paradise is fine with Mondays also.
Okay.
Casey, what about you? Good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I can do, the first Monday would probably be a bit better, but this is fine.
Yeah, I just have to be after 11:30 in the morning.
Okay, so if we left the meetings from 1 to 3 p.m. on the second Monday of the month, that would mean the next full meeting, which will be, essentially a recurrence of this one, would be in April. That would be April 12th. Does that
Should be fine.
make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's do that. We will work on setting the dates, and we will also work on troubleshooting the IT portion of this meeting, this venue. I'll continue to coordinate with all of you via email as I did before.
Clint,
Yes.
this is Jody. Rather than just have the same agenda that we were supposed to have today, could we get a progress report from the consultants at the April meeting as well? I'd like to have some more meat on the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, my sincere apologies to all of you for today. These things happen. We'll be in touch. The next meeting for April, certainly the agenda and any other announcements will go out earlier than they did this time. We were trying to squeeze this one in with all of the sort of the nuts and bolts of pulling a meeting like this together. So some of the notices were a bit short. We'll try to extend those to at least a couple of weeks, although I hope all of you could put place holds on your calendars for the second Monday of each month, and I'll send around a appointment for each of those months as well. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care.
Thanks, Clint.